Hey guys, we are back with the Extra Innings show at the Flyover Brewing Company. I'm Anna Semba here with Jeffrey Nelson for our very last show this season.
Yeah, it's exciting to know that not only it's been a success so far, but it's a little bit weird knowing that the season's coming to an end with only 6 games to play so far, as the team will go to Fort Collins today. But it feels like it's been forever that we've been here in Gearing, but it's been fun.
There are days where I'm like, I can't believe that, setting up the ballpark on, the last week of May felt like ages ago.
Yeah.
But then I look at July and I'm like, July's almost over, and I didn't even it just blinked so quickly. But yeah, so the Pioneers are going to be in Fort Collins today, tomorrow. Fort Collins comes to us Sunday, Monday for our last home game on Monday. And then they'll be on the road again for the last 2 games, Tuesday and Wednesday, and that ends the season. I know on the schedules it says that there is a playoff at Gearing, but unfortunately, due to certain circumstances, that was canceled, and the Pioneers will not be in the playoffs this season.
Yeah, teams have been struggling with pitchers all season. It's one of the hardest group of guys to keep on a team. Obviously, the Pioneers have only lost 2 position players, but we've lost a total of 5 pitchers. And we're not the only ones. Other teams have lost pitchers and stuff like that. So, unfortunately, the playoff schedule that's on there has been canceled. Also, I looked at my scorebook, and I'm pretty sure the games today will start at 6 o'clock, not 6:35, as it says on the schedule. Of course, we're used to games starting 6:35 here, but usually when we go to other places, they start at 6. And when we were in Fort Collins back on the 4th and the 5th, which was a rough trip there, not to say the least, but those games started at 6 o'clock. But on the flip side, it has not been rough for the Pioneers in the past 2 weeks now. The last time we lost the game was on July the 5th.
Yep. The Pioneers now have an 11 game win streak. They won their 250th game yesterday in program history. So it's been really cool to see the Pioneers really finish the season off strong. They still have the 6 games, and they're not going to be easy. Those Fort Collins games are not going to be easy because they are on a hot streak too.
They are.
I believe they're at an 8-game win streak as well.
Yeah, and I mean, coming off of a 3-game series against Dodge City, it was nice for the Pioneers to get back to league play and obviously play those Dodge City A's, who there was a little bit of stuff going on back in June when we traveled down to Dodge City, but it was nice for the Pioneers to get wins and also get everybody else involved as well outside of those league games. And it was an early morning game yesterday, but they got the job done. So we'll see how it goes.
And the team is really just grown so much this past season. Just certain players have absolutely flourished. And it's been amazing to see this season. Just we started off hot, and I think we're gonna finish off hot, and I like that.
Yeah, and I mean, we hope to finish off hot, but I guess the goal for here is to take at least 3 of the road games. And we know how good we've been at home. We've been 22-6. Fort Collins is one of the teams that we've lost to at home, but we did go on to beat them as well in fact, we beat them twice at home, rather. We didn't lose to them at home because we won the first 5 games of the season, but we then lost to them on the road. So it'll be important for us to take 1 out of 2 at least, and hopefully you push our winning streak and end their winning streak, So keep our winning streak going.
Today is going to be the day someone loses their win streak.
Absolutely, and I mean, it'll be a great matchup as well because it's 2 hot teams. It's a ballpark that flies. So make sure you tune into KNEB Radio. I'll be doing the game at 6 o'clock. So make sure you tune in because it'll be a great matchup today.
Yeah, no, like we said, Fort Collins, they're going to be on the road for 2 days. But that doesn't mean they haven't been hot on the road because they were just on the road this past weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and they won all 3 of those games. So they've turned it around. They learned how to be good on the road,
Yeah, and I mean, they were good on the road, but they were not the competition that they're going to be playing today, right?
Exactly.
So that'll be the key going into the road game today is can we push ourselves up to the level of Fort Collins, who, I mean, the point streak schedule is a little bit weird in the standings and everything, right? It has us at 500, but either way, the Fort Collins Foxes are the team that's closest to us in the standings, just 1 spot ahead. So it'll be how close can we get to them by the end of the season because we have 4 games against them. Only 2 of them are league, but it'll still be a great matchup.
So kind of to switch things up, today the players are already on the road. So we don't have any players. We don't have any coaches to talk to today. So let's just kind of take it back a little bit and just talk about our time here because, I've gotten to do so many cool things that I never thought I'd be doing if I was anywhere else, my biggest thing from this season is that I took a risk of coming to the west side of the country. was very comfortable on the East Coast, and I probably would have stayed somewhere on the East Coast, but I said no, I'm gonna try, and I'm so glad I did because I got to see like this beautiful side of the country, and I'm really grateful for it. So, what has your time been here? Like, how have you been?
It's been great. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm a player at this point because the same days that they get off, I get off, right? Because for the first time, I've been calling every single game, which has been great for me. It's obviously cool to see a different part of the country that I've driven through before, but I've never stayed here. So it's cool to see a different part of the country in that aspect. But I've been in a situation where I feel like my body's tired or I'm getting tired, and you just have to keep on pushing through. And I think that's the hardest part, I think we got here at the beginning, and it felt like forever until we got to do our first game, right? For you, for social media, and for me, for calling games. And it was like we got here 3-4 days before, and we were setting up the ballpark, yada, 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 and doing stuff for 4 or 5 hours. And it was like, okay, we need a game now, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's been great. I mean, around 50 games or so, almost on the dot, is what we're going to be doing this year. But it's been a great experience here as well.
Yeah, what has been like one of your favorite memories, one on the field and one off the field?
I mean, for me, it's got to be playing for the first time in 5 years. I got to play in the military game. Off the field, it's probably the lunches that we get to go to because everybody's there. Sometimes players join us as well, but we all get everybody that is the reason why we're here and people that are going to be reasons why we remember being here, all in one spot, and we get to enjoy each other and have our own fun time. How about you?
So my favorite on the field moment was when we had that rain delay, like the one game that was suspended to the next day, excuse me. And I got to do my first tarp slide. I thought that was so fun, just seeing all the players and even Patrick get on the tarp and just literally act like little kids again and just enjoying the rain. Like, I think that's one of those things where it's like, it's such like a wholesome like moment. That's something that I just won't forget. Like how it was just like one of those moments. Everyone was just having fun and like just being like a little kid again, and that was great. And then off the field, I mean, I got to go to so many like different hiking spots because like in Florida,
there's no mountains.
The closest hiking place, which isn't bad, but it's definitely not Colorado hiking or even here. It's like an 8-hour drive for me in Georgia. So being able to go hiking and seeing like this beautiful, like all the mountains and stuff. There was one moment where I showed you a video. This deer like practically came up to me. Yeah. And I felt like a Disney princess. It was like that's like something I will never take back. But like also like all the time we spend with the interns outside of like the few moments that we do have outside of the baseball field.
I mean, yesterday was a blessing to have an early game and get out of it early as well.
What'd you end up doing?
I just relaxed. I think it's part of the time, and when you work so much and you work so much at night, you have to take. You have to be thankful for the time that you do get when you get a day and you can just relax at night. Honestly, I fell asleep. I couldn't stay up. It was just awkward. It was a different day.
I napped, woke up, got dinner, and then I went back and I napped some more. So that was my day off as well. So, but yeah. So what's like the first thing you're gonna do when you get back home? Like, what are some of those things that you're like, this is what I miss, and I'm gonna go do it like first week while I'm back home?
Pizza. New York pizza, New Jersey pizza is different. There's nothing that compares to I guess the only other places here is like Arthur's Pizza's right down the road, the Pizza Hut, Domino's. I haven't bothered with those. That's not gonna happen. I'm waiting to get back to New York and New Jersey to eat that pizza there. Roman Gourmet which is in my hometown. And one of my best friends actually works there now.
Oh, wow.
So I've got to go there. Tell him to make me a pizza. But what about for you?
I miss the beach. The springs that we have in Florida are beautiful. So being able to go back into the water, like I never realized how much of a water I don't know if that's how it makes sense. So a water person I am, like how much I love swimming in the beach or laying in the sand.
Like
Poseidon, yeah, I guess so. Like Percy Jackson right here.
Yeah.
But I love the water. It's so nice just to be able to like enjoy a day like in the sun and like being able to like just enjoy that like ocean or the lakes or the springs, like I said. But I'm also I missed Publix sub sandwiches. I brought one here, and everyone was gassing it up. So I do miss that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be bringing on somebody else from Florida in a little bit. Who I'm sure she can attest to the Publix sandwiches as well. Yeah. And I've heard about them. I used to go to Florida all the time, and I still do. So I know a little bit about those Publix sandwiches. What do you think is going to be the hardest thing? Obviously, the weather here is similar to Florida in that it's hot every day,
Oh no!
right? But it's not
oh
humid.
no! Oh no! Oh no! I will be missing this weather so much. Being able to like go outside and not feel like you need a shower. The second you step outside is really nice. But I will say, like, that's why I think I've enjoyed this time here too. Because in the beginning of the season, I was wearing like jackets and stuff. Like, like in June, I was like wearing hoodies and wearing pants. Like, I wasn't like hot. Which, granted, like now it's getting to that point.
Yeah.
But again, it's not humid enough where like I'm like exhausted, like feel like exhausted. Even yesterday, it was like the hottest game we've ever
Yeah,
played.
I remember. So Luke came on the broadcast about the 5th inning, and in between innings, he was talking about like, I heard it's cool up here, like in terms of colder air,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, I looked at my phone and it said 82 degrees. I was like, it's not that hot outside. He's like, oh no, it's hot because
It
it's
was
just
humid.
dry heat.
Yeah, and it was humid. Yeah, and most of the players all the time are like hanging on the edge of the dugout, and they were all in the few.
And thankfully,
few
their
spots of the
dugout
shade.
is the only dugout in the ballpark until the sun officially goes down. That's in the shade. So,
Yeah.
But an early game, that's one thing that they had to get used to. Obviously, we saw a couple opportunities at third base where the infielders couldn't see the ball,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
saw other people react like, "Hey, what are they doing?" But
Yeah.
you know, that sun does shine bright here. What's going to be the hardest thing for you to miss here as well? And then we'll get ready to bring on Brandy.
Like I said, like hiking. I'm not gonna say hiking again, but that is something I'm gonna miss. Something about this town though, it's just something about how like I don't mean this in a negative way, and it's a lot slower than Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Like Florida is like so fast. You go
You'd be surprised with all the old people in Florida, but it's still go.
Yeah, it's a very big, fast-paced city and like fast-paced state. That here, it's like finally I got to like really enjoy like my mental space and like really get like figure out some things about myself that like I didn't know before, and be able to just truly like slow down myself and like because I'm always a go person. Like, what's the next thing I can do? Where am I going next? What am I doing next? Like, here's my 10 steps. Like, what's the next 10 things I'm doing? And to like here, I just got to like work on one thing at a time and be able to just kind of like
you create your own process and
Yeah.
understand everything that's going on in life.
and be able to like decompress for once and be able to like look at myself from a third point of view and be able to like work on myself truly.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
What about for you?
Obviously, I miss like games every day.
Yeah.
Because obviously, baseball's been my whole life since I was 3. So that'll be one of the hardest things for me to miss. But obviously, the plan is to be in baseball, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have an off season at one point. Yogi Berra said that there's only 2 seasons. There's baseball and winter. And so that'll be
That's
one
fair.
thing that's hard to miss. But I think the hardest thing for me to miss here is like not having to wait in the line, right? Like everywhere you go.
Oh my god.
Like-
yes.
Like,
yeah.
I realize I'm going to go home and I might have to wait 30 minutes for food, which never happens here. Like,
Yeah,
it
I
happened
know.
once in a
Oh
big
my
group setting,
goodness.
but like to be able to come here and say, okay, well, first off, I'm only going 10 minutes to get to where I need to go for food.
Yeah.
But also, I might have to wait 10 minutes, meaning if I'm taking it home, I'm back in 30, right?
Yeah.
Like, that does not happen in
No.
New York or Florida.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, you're so right. Like, I got my car serviced, and
Oh my
I
gosh,
just got
I did
to, like,
too yesterday. It took me 40 minutes.
It took me like 30 minutes. I dropped it off, and they called me in 30 minutes. Like, okay, it's ready. And I was like, what do you mean? I did a walk-in appointment. What?
Yeah.
Why would you schedule an appointment then?
It's
At that
it's
point.
awesome though too, and I think the other part that I'm gonna miss is like the fans here that show up to the ballpark.
Yes,
because
every single game. Yeah.
for me, it's great to be able to express the players to these parents that are at home that
Yeah.
might not be able to come, but when they do come and they're like, oh, I can put a name to the face now.
Yeah,
Like
no.
I was at Steel Grill last night and I saw Andrew Landis there, and his parents were there as well, and they were
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, you're the broadcaster. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna definitely miss the interns, the players, like, because we've been seeing each other for the past 50.
I think it's how many
So-
1, 2, 3,
so it's
4, 5,
almost like-
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 off days
Yeah.
from May 28th to July 24th, and
Yeah.
that includes an off day after the 24th. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so we've been seeing a lot of each other, and some days, it's like your family where you don't want to see them anymore. But it's just weird to know that like we're all just gonna go back home.
Yeah.
And like that's it. Like
Yeah.
And as much as like I would hope to keep you guys like in my life and connected, but it's just such a weird thought of like we just spent the last 2 months being side by side, literally working sunrise to sunset with some of these people, and being able to just come back and like go back to like as if nothing happened. But yeah.
Yeah, and
Speaking of interns.
speaking of somebody who you might get to see because you both are from the Tampa area, we're gonna have Brandy Barquin on next, and she's from Florida as well, and she's been working around the ballpark hard with a couple of the other interns that we've had on the show as well. So we're gonna get ready to bring her in after a break, right?
Yep. Let's take a little break and we'll come back shortly.
Back here on the Extra Innings show, we have our last intern on the show, Brandy Barquin. How are you doing today, Brandy?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Doing good.
So for you, you've been on the field during in between innings, right? But that is something new for you as well, obviously having just graduated school. So what's that been like for you so far this year?
It's very different because like I came from playing, like I
Yeah.
was a softball player, so I was playing, and now I'm like behind the scenes. I think it's really cool to see like everything that goes on to get the show that happens. You know, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of dedication, and it's a lot of time, but it's fun. It's been a fun summer.
What is one of your favorite things you've done so far this summer, like on the field during the Western Nebraska Pioneers games?
I really enjoyed the Taylor Swift night. So like every game we had was kind of tailored to like Taylor Swift. So it was just Taylor
No
Swift
pun
music all
intended.
night long.
No, that's That's awesome. That was one of like my favorite games, honestly. Just seeing all like you guys. I know you and Kaylee made some friendship bracelets, and some people got to trade them. And that was really nice and really sweet. Like I honestly seeing like all the little girls come to like the game with their dads. It's just really sweet.
It feels like it was forever ago. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah, how have you felt? Like, how long has this summer been for you, or how short has it been?
It's honestly felt really long. Like I miss being home. I miss Florida, and I like miss my people. But like, obviously, there's 9 of us, so it's kind of like a family here in Nebraska.
Yeah.
So it's ready to go home. I'm gonna miss it.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, what's the first thing? Like, I know what I'm gonna do when I come back to Florida. What's like some of the first things you're gonna do when you go back to Florida?
She said public sandwiches, by the way.
Oh yeah, a little pub sub for sure. The chicken tender sub's one of my favorites. Probably the beach and the pool is probably going to be one of my first things. Chick-fil-A, Chipotle.
The Chipotle, yeah. Chipotle. There's only a Qdoba out here, which is like not like Chipotle.
Yeah,
but you mentioned being from Florida, and you went to Weber where you played softball as well. So you just had your family up here. What's it been like for you? Because obviously you flew out here, which is a long flight, right? I'm not sure. What is it? 3-4 hours? Something like that, right? But it's a longer drive. So what's that been like for you being away from Florida and out of the state for, I don't know how long it's been for you, but.
It's been a little under 2 months, but it's definitely different, especially like I don't have a car here. So like I rely on my roommate, and thankfully she's been like a great person, takes me everywhere. But just ready to be back, honestly.
Yeah, no, so I said like the weather's a lot better here. It's so much nicer. And like even yesterday when we had that 11 o'clock game, it was like just like a nice cooler day in the summer for Florida. How do you feel about the weather, like going back home and like knowing that humidity is just going to smack you across the face?
I love it. I love the Florida weather. I'm like one of those weird ones. Like I love to sweat and just be hot and take a dip in the pool. Like that's the life to me.
Yeah, if I could dip in the pool, that'd be nice. If I'm going out and like trying to go like I don't know, do something outside, any physical activity, you're just like absolutely not after 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about it with my dad the other day when he was here. I was like, nobody here has a pool, right? Like there's 2 community pools, right?
Yeah,
and whatever, Scottsbluff and Gearing. But in Florida, I feel like every like area you go to, especially because you guys are from the Tampa area, right? Somebody has a pool on a block, or it's multiple people. So
I think it's like most people have a. I think
right?
it's like
it's that, or they got a boat,
or most of the time both. Most of the time you got a pool, you got a boat for the most part. Yeah, no, it's weird because like another thing weird. I mean, it's not that like crazy, but basements. We don't have basements.
Yeah. Or tornadoes and stuff like that. You guys get hurricanes, but usually you just evacuate the area or board up your house, right? So
no, I just don't do anything, and we just live it up. Honestly, no one really worries.
That's such a Florida answer, right? Like
we could have hurricane parties. Like literally at Publix, you can find cakes with the hurricane and their name on it.
That's so crazy. Like to think about that kind of stuff. Obviously, you said that you've been to Denver for some softball tournaments when you were younger, right? And we went to the game on July the 4th, and how was that for you? Because it kind of was a throwback because we had a bunch of softball teams in our area, and obviously you went to the softball sparkler, right? That's what it's called. So what's a memory that you have from going there?
I mean, it's definitely like wow, time flies. Like that was like 7 years ago, and it's like no way that was 7 years ago. Like it feels like yesterday. And like where we were sitting, there was like a team from Tampa, the Tampa Mustangs. They're like, oh, I know that team, but I'm not gonna know anyone on the team anymore because it's 7 years ago. So yeah, it just really shows you how like time flies, and like kind of I miss it. That was a fun tournament.
We're getting old.
No, me and Brandy are the oldest people here, and we can take crap about it all the time. And like, I'm finally glad to have another intern that's the same age as me now. As Brandy turned 23 last week, so happy birthday to you as well. But
thank you.
How's that been? Obviously, because you have to gel with the other people, right? And so. Me and you are done with school. Other people are still going through school. Obviously, you're doing grad school.
Or just started school.
Right, or just started school like Peyton, right? Like, so it's crazy. What's that been like for you? Obviously, sometimes we have conversations about school, but how about that?
I guess I like to joke that I'm from like a different generation, even though we're in the same generation. But it's definitely weird because like you've been through like your 4 years and they haven't. So like I feel like I kind of have some wisdom to give and just trying to share what I know.
What's the plan for when you go back home? I know you are doing the Special Olympics, so talk about a little bit about that and what we're doing with that.
Yeah, so I landed a role with the Special Olympics in Tampa, so when I get back, I'll be moving. I'm from Lakeland, which is like 45 minutes from there. My role was like a lot of like admin, like paperwork, and making sure each athlete has the correct medical records, each team has their correct registration, and all that jazz.
Is that a lot of work for you? Because we know how you've been coming up with game scripts and stuff like that for the games and the in-between games. How is that going to compare to doing a game script and stuff like that when you go back?
I don't think it's gonna be like that much of a change because like as a student athlete, you learn to really balance your time as like you have so much going on. So like time management is like a big thing for me. So I really think I'll be able to like adapt and like be flexible to like this new job.
And you talked about time management, right? So obviously you played for 4 years at Weber, and now you are watching the game. Obviously, I remember stuff at the beginning of the season when teams were having rough games, and you'd be like, "Oh, come on!" Like me, you, and Cole would always be like, "They got to make that play." But how much more relaxing has it been to be able to know that not only are you like done for now with softball, who knows if you pick it up, right? But to also just be able to work now and focus on that and things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a change. Like it's definitely less stressful, you know, like it's kind of relaxing knowing that I don't have to like kill myself at the gym anymore or like I don't have to practice all the time and that I can actually like start my life and have a social life and like build towards my future without the game. It's a big change, but it's like something I've been looking forward to and I'll definitely miss it, but like I'm ready for like my next steps.
Speaking of social life, you've made some great friends with some of the interns, right? And we know what goes on in the press box when you and Claire Sanger are up there and everything else that goes on. What's it been like for you to, build those friendships and everything?
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm definitely going to miss those that I'm close to. I hope we stay in touch. We have like 3 or 4 more days together, so really just going to take it one day at a time with them.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been like, just kind of surreal, like how it's already been 2 months, which is crazy. But what is like some of your favorite memories on the field, off the field? I know we talked a little bit about on the field, but just off the field, what is some of your like greatest things that you're gonna take home and be like, yeah, this is a memory?
Yeah, off the field, I liked when all the interns went to the Rockies game. That was a fun time. Me and Claire sometimes play pickleball. That's always a fun time.
How was the pickleball? You played with your dad, is that true? You
I
played
did.
the other day for Oregon Trail Days?
I did. We played in the Oregon Trails tournament.
You were in the competitive part of the bracket.
So we went 1 and 2 on the day, lost in the semis, but definitely our first pickleball tournament, hoping to get better. I just got into it, so really hoping to build on that.
And is there anything that's different for you from being from Florida, like the food and stuff like that, and obviously being out here in the western part of Nebraska? What's so different from that for you?
Florida is like, out here it's kind of like a culture shock. Like everyone's just so calm and relaxing. Like there's not much going on. And when I'm back home, it's kind of like everyone's on the go, got things to do. Let's
you ready
get
for
to
the
it.
traffic?
No, I'm not. I hate the traffic, but ready.
Florida is like a go state.
Yeah.
It's like everyone, and yeah, like especially in parts like Tampa, Orlando, Miami, like people are always busy with the next project that they're doing, and it's like I said earlier in the show, it's like here it's just finally able to like enjoy what is around you, whereas like in Florida sometimes I kind of like take things for granted because of just like how busy everyone is and how go everything is.
Yeah, and I think one more question, I guess for the both of y'all too, right? Because Florida is one of those states where you'll go to the other cities and things like that. Out here, people don't always go to Omaha or Lincoln, right? They'll go to Denver, right? And especially for Brandy, obviously you're in Gainesville, which is like, it has a big school there, obviously, as you go to Florida, right? But Brandy, you're also 45 minutes from Orlando and 45 minutes from Tampa, as well as you being from like the Tampa area, but also Cincinnati as well as where you grew up, right? So how hard has it been for you to not be able to just say, oh, let's go to this city, let's go to that city, because everything's such a far drive out here. We're not going to go an hour and a half to Cheyenne. Like,
well, you say hour and a half, but Gainesville's pretty much an hour and a half to 2, maybe 3 hours away from everything.
But there's nothing like a big like school out here, Like,
I'm going to be honest
University
here.
of Nebraska is 6 hours away.
Well, yes, but like you can also like, I don't know, like the University of Florida, like it's just, it is a big school, and like yeah, game days are always like a blast, but like honestly, like beyond like the school, there's really not much to do, so you have to go out on the weekends to like those, to St. Augustine or Tampa or Orlando, and like thankfully like Central Florida, like Tampa and Orlando are close together, so you could drive back and forth.
Yeah.
But everything around Gainesville, you have to drive like two hours or so. So it's very similar to here, like how Fort Collins is about 2.5 hours. So like I was just talking to Dan about that, like how even though Western Nebraska he said, it's not my words, it's his, how there's not much to do, but there's a lot to do around the area.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe not Omaha, but, there's Denver, which isn't too far. You have Wyoming, so, like Cheyenne. So it's like, yeah, there's, the Frontier Days are coming up. So I'm sure that's where most of these guys are going to be going soon next week. So.
How about you, Brandy?
What was the question?
It's just like
talk a
the
lot.
difference between going from an hour and a half and you're going through 2 different states, right, to get to, or 3 hours to get to Denver, right? But you're 45 minutes from Orlando, you're 45 minutes from Tampa. How different is that from being out here?
One big difference I noticed is like this is really a community. Like the people are like here for each other, and like there's a lot going on here if you like look for it. Like I just went to this restaurant called Papa Moon. I don't know if you guys ate there yet. It's like barbecue, but they have things happening every day. Like tomorrow they have hot yoga. So I might go,
Like,
I might not.
While you're eating food, like.
No, like it's like a separate thing.
Okay, gotcha,
But yeah,
gotcha.
there's definitely like that small town community feel here, which is nice that I'm not really used to.
How cool is that too? Because like my dad brought me to a place called Taco Town that like I know I'm gonna have to go to before I leave, right? Because it was just that good. But in Tampa, there's so many stores, or Orlando, there is so many places to go that you could live there for 30 years and you wouldn't go everywhere, right? But here you could live here for 30 years and people know where everybody lives. Like,
I agree with what Brandon said. Like, and kind of what you're saying is that, yeah, it's like here you like really truly appreciate like every business. And like every business is trying to get something going for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's probably thousands of events happening in Tampa right now, none of them are going to feel as special as like this like mom and pop shop throwing something together. Or like in Tampa, it's like there's always something going on, but it's never like a community. It's just like people sometimes even will drive out like, and it's like you won't see them ever again. Whereas here, it's like some of these things are reoccurring events, so you're gonna see the same people every time almost.
And then like look at all our sponsors that help Western Nebraska baseball happen.
gosh.
Like without this small town feel and these small town people and all their businesses, we wouldn't be who we are without
No.
them.
Everyone
Not
helps
at
everyone
all.
else here.
Yeah.
It's not the same in Florida.
and I mean, I guess the first people for us that have helped us out is Chuck and Myra, obviously by bringing us in. So like, how has that been for you, obviously, Brandy? Because you have to talk to them a lot, right? Like, and get things going, and they have information that you need, right? And so how has that been for you this year? Because for me, it's just I show up,
Yeah.
I help out, and then I just broadcast the game. But talking with them.
With the script, I got to make sure like we're hitting like what needs to be announced. Like so Chuck kind of sends me emails like we have our seats of honor, so he gives me a bio so we can dedicate a certain little part of the script to them. But it's really nice. Chuck and Myra really have been great to us. They have showed us the area. They feed us, which is always nice.
Oh my gosh.
But most of all, they've given us the opportunity to experience baseball, like a baseball organization, and it's been fun. It's been great, and I'm very thankful for this opportunity.
Yeah, they've given us opportunities that like if we would have gone to anywhere else, we probably would have been shadowing someone. Whereas this is like you are doing this position, like at what that position entails, like in the real world. So it's not just like you doing all the like the more like negative things of that job. It's like you're doing all of it, and like you get that liberty and that freedom to be able to write the script kind of how you envision it, and with the tweaks of Chuck and Myra. Same goes for social media. Like what we're doing is kind of like at our own liberty, and it's so nice to have that kind of opportunity and that stepping stone to be able to get to where like you're comfortable with your own self.
Yeah, and it's been a true resume builder and a true helper as well, right? Not only to see what life is like, because you're not gonna be always in the biggest city. Well, you're moving to Tampa, right? But like it's a big city. But like for me or for Anna or even for you, like if you took a different job for Special Olympics, right? You might be in a city like this, right? So it's giving us the experience. But thankfully, we've had host families. I don't know, how has your host family been? Because obviously you live with Kaylee as well. But how's that been?
Our host family has been great. Like they treat us like we're one of their kids. Like we have dinner together. We go out and we do things. Like we went camping with them. Like it's been a great opportunity there as well.
And obviously, like I don't know how many kids do they have, or how many are in the house still, I guess.
Only 2 are still in the house.
Gotcha. So is that giving you another feeling of having siblings? Because I know that you have brothers that play baseball as well. One of your brothers plays at Jacksonville.
Yes.
So is that nice to be able to, come home and like to a family?
Yeah, so I have 2 sisters and a brother, so it's kind of, I'm still in a house of like 4 kids, so it's kind of nice, kind of like home.
You feel any pressure from them in order to, grow up a little bit faster or anything like that? Because obviously they're older, right? Or
Yeah, my sisters are older. Not really. They're kind of just like giving me advice, pushing me, like telling me to find a career where I'm like truly happy and not to rush into anything.
Gotcha.
Is there anything you'd like to share about your time here during that you like, or anything
Let's
that you're gonna
let's
miss?
let's do this because obviously you've had a job that's been involved a lot with the Pioneers and like with the owners. Why should somebody who's watching this right now come and work for Chuck and Myra next year or work for the Pioneers next year?
We'll go down the line.
Yeah.
So like this was my first time like having like this type of role, marketing and promotions for a baseball team, and with the Pioneers, it's kind of awesome because like you do have free reign. Like for the marketing and promotions, every in-game activity Kaylee and I get to come up with, and like the only advice that we really get from Chuck or Myra is like how we could do it better. Like they let you like explore your creativity and they help you build on that, which is why like if you're considering an internship, I would definitely consider the Pioneers.
Yeah, no, I like I said a little bit earlier, and I'll kind of bounce back on it. Is that like social media and like there's just no pressure of like of anything like that. It's just like literally like our own creative liberty. It's not like there's any ideas that ever get shut down necessarily, and it's always like and it's always fun to just be able to work with like the players and their ideas and like kind of incorporate it. And it's been really fun. Like honestly, like yeah, the beginning of the season was a little, figuring out what was expected of us and like kind of
forth,
back and forth. But then once they've, if you, the only thing I have to say for advice is like you need to come here with your best. Like you are gonna work hard. Like and it's like if you're not ready for that, like Chuck and Myra can find someone else. Like honestly, like
Yeah.
you need to be able to come here with like the work ethic, and then they're gonna like. And that's the thing. If you showcase to them that you can put 100% of your effort into it, they're gonna give you 100% of their trust. And that's something that some places don't do. Is like you could give them your everything you've got, and they're not gonna trust you because you're just an intern. Whereas here, it's like you're not just an intern. You are literally like and they let us know how much we're appreciated, like that we're one of the people that we're the backbones of sometimes this operation, as much as they do a lot and they do that, they let us know that we're also appreciated and that we do a lot for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's knowing and coming here that when I met Chuck and Myra, they were 100% on this team, right? And like they want to succeed so bad. We hear them talking about in our meetings about everything that like another team could do better, another team could do right, and like we come here and we want to do everything right. So it's forcing us to be like the best that we can be, but also they understand that like we're working at our hardest, right? So if something goes wrong, they say, okay, well, here's how we can do it better, but you guys still did a good job, right? And so I think that's one of the biggest things, right? Is if I were an intern next year to come here, I would say, okay, I need to be at the best of my abilities. I need to want to succeed. I need to want to do what I'm doing, and then I'll be able to enjoy it. And like the process takes a little long, right? I think it felt for me until like the couple first days in June that I was like, okay, I'm fully bought in on this, right? Because there were some rough days. But overall, I mean, it's become a great experience. And especially for me, calling every game and being able to go with the team all the time, it's been a whole lot of fun. And I guess the last thing is that that they'll take care of you, right? Like we have a house underneath us. We have, you have somebody who can drive you places, right? Which is great. And sometimes she loans you her car. And for me, like I have a great host mom that is always there. And like she always makes sure that I'm getting back safely, right? Like even though I might come back at 2 a.m. when she has to get up at 6. She still says, "Let me know when you get home," and I'm like, "Okay, that's great," because like I know my dad would do the same thing. So like Chuck and Myra really take care of us. That's for sure.
Yeah, and especially when like there's just things that like you might be because after you're doing 50 games in a span of 2 months, you're gonna get frustrated at some point. You're gonna have bad days, and that's okay because they're there to like listen to you and make sure that you're there, like that you're okay, and like they're gonna take care of you, and that's including Patrick, Matthew, all the interns,
And they understand that people get frustrated too, right? Like you're here away from home, outside of Patrick, but and they know that you might get frustrated, and they'll say, okay, we can't have you like that, but we still want you here, right? It's not like they say get out of here and stuff like that, So I think that that's another great thing. Anything else y'all want to add?
I mean, I've really enjoyed my time here, and I'm so grateful to have this show that we could do, because part of me, like as much as I think that I'm going to go into social media, there's a little part of me that wants to do something like this all the time. So I'm really grateful for Chuck and Myra to like try new things, because this is like the first time they've done a show something like this. So trying new things, letting us have the opportunity to come out here and like talk about the Pioneers and being our true selves, and we don't have to like really be a certain persona like some interns like internships are.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brandy, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And when we come back, we'll wrap up the Extra Innings show for the last time this year, and we'll tell you about other stuff that'll be going on next year and how you can learn more stuff about the Pioneers. But thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
All right, we're back for the last time ever.
It's crazy to say that, you know?
Yeah.
And as we've been talking about for the past couple of minutes before we went to break with Brandy, it's been a lot of fun.
So much fun.
And I just want to ask you, for any other kid that's watching, like, how did you find out about the Western Nebraska Pioneers?
Yeah, so like most people who want to work in the sports industry, there's a website called Teamworks Online, and that's where a lot of people will find jobs and careers. I'm talking from jobs like game day staff. I was in like
You can find
tickets.
grounds crew.
Yeah, you like ticket scanners and concessions, all the way to careers like jobs of broadcasting and social media coordinators, managers, all that fun stuff. So Teamworks Online is a really good. You get to make your own resume and like your links and stuff. So when you apply, some websites or some jobs will have you like go in and apply on their website, but some of them will just let you submit that resume you built on that website. And so that's how I found it. I applied. I got an email from Chuck and Myra to do an interview. They enjoyed my interview and told me that here's our agreement, and let me know if you'd like to join.
Yeah, I mean, it was for me as well. Obviously, for the Pioneers, and next season, obviously, we still have 2 more games, but you can always find tickets at WNPioneers.com. Or, as I say, you can always go to 1414 10th Street. Usually between about 10 and 2 is when people are in the office for sure. Sometimes they close at 4 o'clock. But if you want tickets for the 2025 Collegiate League season, you can go there, as well as you can call them at the area code and then 633-BALL. And they'll be able to pick up the phone. Usually there will be somebody in there, Patrick, Chuck, or Myra, that'll be in there for sure. And they'll be able to help you out and get you some tickets. Obviously, there's reserve tickets, and then there's regular seat tickets.
Yeah, and also if you are interested in being a host family, Myra's always...
we know Myra's going to talk about that.
Myra loves the host families, and she loves helping those. So if you are interested in hosting an intern or a player or even a coach for next season, let them know. They are always on the hunt for those people, those kind people in Gering and Scottsbluff, and even outside, a little bit outside the Gering and Scottsbluff area. And also, like, if you are interested in sponsoring anything, please come down to the office. And
if you're in the area, you most likely know who Chuck and Myra are. You can always come to the office. You can always call them. Again, it's 308-633-BALL as well. But how about for you, social media? Where can people find stuff like that?
Yeah, so our social media, it's all pretty much the same. So it's WN Pioneers. That's on Facebook. Oh my goodness, this fly will not leave me alone.
That's gonna be something in Florida.
Those are mosquitoes and no-see-ums and love bugs and horseflies, and I could keep going. Anyway, so yeah, so if like social media, it's like all the same, and it's gonna slow down a little bit after the season's over. But there's a few things that they'll have in store later on. But yeah, so for social media, I had a blast. Like I said over and over again, like it was full creative liberty, and I was able to really showcase like some things with like my creative skills of like videos. I love making videos, and like I love making edits and stuff. So I'm so excited to like, because it's been really hard to like go home and like go through all the footage I have and like sort through it, what's good, what's bad, and then so I'm excited to go home and make edits like that. Maybe I'll send to Chuck and Myra if they'd like to like, post it. But just to be able to like build my own portfolio, and that's another thing that like me and Peyton both have agreed that like this place is where you can build your resume and you build your portfolio, because I came here thinking I was just going to do social media and some sideline stuff. But, I helped with baseball operations, and I got to learn some of that kind of stuff. I got to help a little bit with marketing. And so I got to be able to see all those aspects and be able to really put that on my resume, that, like, I'm not just social media. Like, I'm able to do things for, if I was asked to do it for a different team, like, wherever I go in the future, I could,
Yeah, and it's been great given the responsibility that Chuck and Myra have given us as well, to help them expand their team and also help the team succeed. And it's been a great load of fun, and I know that they're doing more for broadcast next year, not just the Extra Innings show. If it's still coming back, we'll see. Obviously, we probably won't be here. It'll be new interns, but either way, the games will obviously be on the Western Nebraska Pioneers YouTube page. We got 2 more of those. Thanks in part to Hayden, who's always been great as I guess, a producer of the show.
Big shout out to Hayden.
He is amazing technically. And he definitely needs to get out of Scottsbluff and Gehring, because there's so many places that could use him in terms of that. Having just graduated high school, though.
He just graduated high school, and he's already like has everything figured out when it comes to like the stuff that happens behind the scenes, behind the camera, which is something that even like at the University of Florida, where we have such a big school, like our department for like producing and stuff is so big, and like I don't even think half of them have the talent that Hayden does, honestly.
No.
And I mean that with all my heart.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, obviously, we came here, and then we would go back to the ballpark to do a game, and I was like, where's Hayden? I need Hayden because something's not working. And he would show up, or like we were missing a cord, and
it
he
takes like 2
randomly,
seconds. He's like,
he randomly has a cord in his backpack one day that helped us do the Extra Innings show. So we appreciate him as well, as he's been behind the scenes. And he's put up these graphics for us in between the breaks and stuff like that, so you don't see us awkwardly sitting here waiting to come back from break.
Big shout out to the dude right there.
We appreciate Hayden as well. As for the Extra Innings show, I mean, this is the last one. It's been a lot of fun. Absolutely.
It's been so much fun.
Of course. And I guess we'll be on the road. You'll be doing some social media, and I'll be calling the games. Yeah. But 2 more home games left, so make sure you come out to Oregon Trail Park on Sunday at 5 and Monday at 6:35.
Yeah, Monday is our fan appreciation game, so
a lot of stuff will be given away.
A lot of stuff.
So if you want something of Pioneers merchandise and stuff like that, make sure you're at the game.
Our Special Olympics is also coming up on the Sunday game, where we'll have the auction for the jerseys. You can get yourself a game-worn jersey. You can even get it signed by the team, signed by that player. So that's an auction that we're doing, similar to the military jerseys and the cancer awareness jerseys. Yeah. We're doing the Special Olympics jerseys on the 29th, and the or excuse me, not
on the
21st. 21st, yeah. I was like, that's not right. The 21st, and then fan appreciation, where there will be so much given away to all the players or players. The fans, fan appreciation, not player appreciation, fan appreciation. So that's like, and it's just a way to wrap up the summer, for everybody.
Absolutely. And for myself, Jeffrey Nelson has been a great experience. And
it's been a good experience too.
It has. And it's been fun doing this show every Friday. So it'll be missed for sure.
It will be missed. Well, thank you guys so much for listening every single Friday to those who have been listening. I'm Anna Tsemba.
I'm Jeffrey Nelson.
And for the last time, thank you guys for watching.